Hey, welcome to Board with Life News for November 23rd. Today I'm going to talk about Spoils of War, reprints of Notre Dame and In the Year of the Dragon, Netrunner Legacy, Yamatai, and the Kickstarter for Feudum. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Board with Life News. I just got back from BGG-Con. It was a wonderful con. I hope to have a video up next Monday that kind of highlights some of my favorite games that I played there and a little bit about the con, so definitely stay tuned for that and subscribe if you're interested in that kind of thing. Happy Thanksgiving to those of you in the United States. I hope you get to play a bunch of games with your family and whatnot over the short break. All right, let's get into board game news. Arcane Wonders announced Spoils of War, which is a sort of re-implementation of Liar's Dice with the theme and stuff where you're taking treasure and things of that nature. It has some modified rules from Liar's Dice. It looks like it takes 60 minutes, which is significantly longer than a game of Liar's Dice, so clearly there's some differences. It's for 3 to 5 players, and it's going to come out April of 2017. Ravensburger announced not one, but 2 reprints of very popular stuff on Feld's games. Both Notre Dame and In the Year of the Dragon are going to get 10th anniversary reprints. I'm very excited about this. Stefan Feld is one of my favorites, if not my favorite designer. These games have been pretty hard to come by for several years, so this is very exciting to me. Both reprints are going to include expansions for the games in the base box now of the reprint, so that's pretty exciting, so you're not going to have to try to hunt that down. Feld's had quite a few reprints in recent years, from Luna to now that just came out Jorvik, which is a retheme of Spikerstad. So yeah, it's great to have his games back in print. I'm very excited about this. Fantasy Flight Games, or Asmodee North America, or whatever it is, announced a sort of slight legacy version of Netrunner. Basically, if you have the base game and the expansion terminal directive, you're going to be able to run a campaign of Netrunner that has some legacy elements to it. It's going to have sealed packs of cards that you open at certain points during the campaign and get to add those into your deck, which is pretty interesting. You're going to have faction boards that you sticker to kind of adjust and change powers and stuff like that. The most interesting thing about this to me is seeing legacy elements enter into pre-established games in this way with an expansion, and also just slight legacy stuff. It's not this huge thing where you're ripping up cards, or I don't know if you're going to rip up cards or not, but it's not the whole focus of the game isn't kind of like check out legacy. Now it's just being implemented into a game as just kind of another thing that a game can do. So that's pretty exciting to me. Days of Wonder, or Asmodee North America, showed off Yamatai at BGG-Con this year. This is the upcoming game they're doing for 2017 from Bruno Cathala and Mark Paquin. Days of Wonder generally produces one game a year, and it's usually really nice components and all that kind of stuff. That's just their business model. So this is going to be their big release for 2017. They did in 2016, this year, they did Quadropolis that I liked quite a bit. Yamatai is drawing a little bit of comparison to Five Tribes, also by Bruno Cathala, also by Days of Wonder. There's some similarities to it. Overall, they make nice, light Euro games that have really great components, so I'm always excited to see what they do, and more often than not, their games are really, really good, so this is pretty exciting. This week's Kickstarter is for Feudum. This is a mid to heavy Euro game that has action selection, resource management, area control. It's just kind of all the Euro stuff piled in to one game. It's for 2 to 5 players and plays in about an hour and a half to 3 hours, so clearly on the heavier side of things. It's got absolutely gorgeous artwork and really incredible components like painted wooden miniatures that are really exciting. The color scheme, everything is very nice about this. The thing that I'm really excited about is they're more and more, as games, kind of the Ameritrash and Euro games collide, we're getting some really thematic Euro games or thematic games with Euro mechanics that have nice bits like Scythe or Blood Rage, and they've got the classic miniatures and all this stuff, but they wind up looking like Ameritrash games that have Euro mechanics, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But this game looks like a Euro game that also has Euro mechanics, but it has super nice components and high production value, which is really exciting to me because I like the Euro aesthetic a little bit more than like, oh, I have a cool monster guy on my board. So instead of like Blood Rage that has awesome plastic miniatures, but they're kind of, I think, a little juvenile in kind of the way they look. This one's monster is this wooden pastel thing that is very juvenile in the way it looks, I guess, because it looks like it's out of a children's book. But it's very creative, very artistic, very cool. I'm very excited about this one. It costs $59 right now on Kickstarter, so if that interests you, go back that. All right, that is the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. I realized that I said I'm very excited like 100 times this segment. I'm sorry about that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and follow me on social media. I'm at Chris Bryan Games on Instagram and Twitter. Also, make sure you go check out my Patreon page. If you like what I do, you can help support me, which helps the show, and I will keep getting better because of of that. So thank you very much if you've already supported me. This week's question comes from @EquipKit, and they said, what do board game conventions not have enough of? I think board game conventions don't have enough open gaming space. Board Game Geek is the exception that I go to. I know that the name of the convention is escaping me. I know that there's some other conventions that really focus on playing games that have plenty of table space, plenty of stuff like that. But you go to something like Gen Con, or from what I understand, Essen, there are very few places to actually sit down and just play a game in the open that aren't like reserved, or you have to take somebody's table, or all this stuff. And that's my favorite thing in conventions, is playing games with people that I only get to see a couple times a year. So I really wish there was more of a focus on that, for if you, with just your normal ticket price, you get access to plenty of tables. I understand space is expensive, and a thing like Gen Con with, 100,000 people or whatever it is, you're never going to have enough space for everyone. But there's such a limited amount of space there that it's always kind of frustrating to me. Conventions like Origins have some space. They could use a little bit more space, but that's just my personal thing. It's harder to focus a convention on playing games, I think, because conventions where people sell a lot of things, it's easy to charge more money for your booth space and things like that, and there's more revenues, like avenues for revenue, basically. And I think Board Game Geek does a great job of it. And I'm glad that we have a diverse set of conventions that people can go to, so that can do what you want. But if I have to pick one thing, that's what I would pick, is more space to play games. All right, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.